Let me show you how I made this whole stack of half square triangles in just a few minutes. And stay tuned to the end because I'm going to throw a little bit of something extra in there. We're going to make an extra surprise block. This is a half square triangle quilt block. And normally when you make them 2 at a time. But I'm working on a quilt pattern that is going to be released in December. Still a secret, I'm not going to tell you what it looks like. But there's a whole lot of half square triangles in it. And who has time to make 2 at a time? Not this girl. I hate wasting fabric and I hate wasting time. So we're going to make a whole bunch of them at once. So basically what you do is you're going to start with 2 triangles that are the same size. Just for reference, these are 13-inch triangles. But if you want to do some math, you can check out our website. In the menu section, you will see a freebies section, and that will drop down to a whole bunch of free PDF that you can print out. And there is a half square triangle cheat sheet, and one of them is an 8 at a time. We're going to do 8 at a time for this. So any size square, as long as 2 of them are the same, you're going to draw a line from each corner like this. And then you're going to sew 1/4 of an inch on each side of those lines like that. So 2 lines going that way and then 2 lines going that way. I need mine to be certain colors, so I have labeled them like this with a heat erasing pen. That's what those marks are. And then you'll see on that cheat sheet, we need to cut it. So we need to cut along these lines, but then we also are going to cut up and down and then also across. Now there's several different ways that you can do that. You can get a rotary cutter and you can cut with your ruler and your rotary cutter. You can cut along the lines with scissors, and then you can maybe even like draw lines with your rulers on here and cut with scissors. You can do that also. You can also just rotary cutter and ruler the whole thing. It's totally up to you. I've done different techniques over the years. It doesn't matter what you use as long as everything gets cut the right way. Lately, I'm on this kick. I don't know why. Maybe I just like to be unpredictable. I like to cut along the lines with my scissors, and then I'll show you what I do for the other ones. Okay, so I put you overhead. So I've cut these with scissors along the lines that we drew. And then this is what I like to do. Scoot these over. Okay, so I use the 45-degree line. And I put that 45-degree line along the seam that I sewed, because this is what's going to open up and create the straight line of our half square triangle. And I put the very, very, very point of my ruler right there where my 2 seams meet. And then I put this 45-degree line there, and I put my point right there. And then I cut like this. And it moved a little bit on me. Okay. And then I do that. And then when I open it up, there's my half square triangle. And then you can press them like this. And I don't know why. That's my current little thing that I'm doing. I don't know why I like to do it that way, but that's what I'm doing right now. And then you end up with 8 of these half square triangles. So this is my current thing that I'm doing right now. And this is going to be a big part of our pattern in December. Okay, now here's the little extra thing that I wanted to show you. So if you take this half square triangle that we just did, and I've trimmed it up. If you want to know how to trim them, scroll back to my last video. I just posted that. So this has been trimmed now. We started with a 13-inch square, and I've trimmed this now to a 6-inch square. So all 8 of them can trim to a 6-inch square. I'm going to take another 6-inch square, and I'm going to place it on top, and I've drawn a line across this one just like you would with your half square triangles. And I'm going to have this line cross the seam. So it's going across this seam that we did. And I'm going to just pin it here so it doesn't go anywhere. And just like when I made all of these other half square triangles, I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch line on both sides of this. Let me do that real quick. And then you can cut these apart also. So it's kind of the same process as when you make half square triangles 2 at a time. When you open these up, you'll have one side that's a half square triangle and one side that is a quarter of a half square triangle, I guess you could say. So I honestly don't know. I've heard this block called several different things. I call them half quarter square triangles because these little blocks here are a quarter of a square, but they're triangles. So I call them half quarter square triangles because this is a half square triangle and this is a half quarter square triangle. I don't know what you would call them, but that's what I call them. If you call them something different, I'd love to hear, put it in the comments. That's what I call them. But that's a neat little block, and you end up with 2 of them. So that's a fun little block. So there you go. I hope that helps. Have fun with that one.